Hello my fellow amphibians. Today we're going to fill out a big empty area here in the center of the North American desert area here in the Drylands. This we will do with some of the park's smallest creatures yet. First, here in the corner I'm going to do something I don't think I have ever done before. Here I'll be making an implied exhibit. This will be for desert pupfish. I've been wanting to do this for quite a while now, but usually I'm just not a big fan of building for species we don't have in the game. But I realized since these animals are so tiny anyway, it didn't matter too much in the end, and I just like the idea of it too much to leave it out. When I've been doing some research for this zoo, I've often been looking at zoos in North America located in desert areas or similar, and very often they have these small ponds or water holes for desert pupfish or other species of pupfish. So it felt like it was almost a must-have for a park like this, and in the end I think the result turned out quite nice, and it is easy to pretend some small creatures could be swimming around in these waters. A lot of zoos in these areas tend to focus on some conservation work with the pupfish species, since many of them live in some quite small and unique water ecosystems within some desert or otherwise dry areas. So they are very vulnerable towards human activities in these areas and can also be affected by climate change and so on. Lately I've been watching some videos about different species of pupfish here on YouTube, and I really started to find them very interesting. I went with the desert pupfish here since that is a species at least a couple of the zoo I occasionally look up for inspiration for this park do have in their collections, so it seemed fitting to go with this species. But another very interesting case of these fish are the devil's hole pupfish. They are only found in one pool that is located in a limestone cave called Devil's Hole, and here the fish have been isolated for at least 60,000 years. They're critically endangered, and because of that the pool they live in is closed for access to the public. The good news is that just around a month ago it was announced the population was at its highest in 25 years, even though this still means there is only around 200 of these fish down in this hole. So the desert pupfish we're building for here does not have as small of a range. It used to be found in quite a lot of water areas around the deserts of North America, but is now limited to a few locations because of humans. So it is sadly also considered endangered, and this is why it makes so good sense for zoos in these areas to keep a population of them. For the rest of this big area I'm going to add in as many walkthrough exhibits as I can fit in here. Here there'll be a garden-like area with native plants to attract as many butterflies as possible. The main focus will be on the monarchs, since they tend to be associated with habitats like these, but I did also add in some cloudless sulfurs, since they are also somewhat fitting for this location. We just want this to feel like a planted area with some paths for the guests to explore and go looking for butterflies and other insects, while also being able to stop up a few places to get a look at the surroundings, like the big lake and waterfall you might have noticed in the background. So I'm mainly just decorating this with foliage and rocks. Quite simple. Monarchs are depending on the milkweed plant to survive, so I really hate we don't have this plant as a piece to place. We only got one of these plants inside each exhibit, so we end up with a total of just 4 milkweed plants here. That is quite annoying. Another annoying thing is that these small house boxes can't be untoggled. They're not horrible, but I don't really feel like they fit into this area. Covering them up with locks or poles would also not really work down here, so that is not a solution I want to go with. Filling out this part of the park really helped make the whole North American area feel more connected again and look more complete. But I'm far from done with this part of the park yet, so make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on the future progress of this. I have a few old builds I need to update. One is the cougar habitat you might have spotted above the waterfall at some point. Another build is my axolotl conservation center, which I still need to add back into the zoo. Then I need to finish up the whaleway. We need to build a western style station and also add a large habitat for bison for it to drive past. The main attraction of the area will be jaguars, to educate about their past and current range in the North American desert. Then I also need to find a good spot for armadillos and maybe skunks as well. I really can't wait to have this whole section of the zoo finished so we can finally do a tour of it. But when that will happen I don't know. Now you've seen a big part of decorating this butterfly zone. The rest I will do off camera, since it's a lot of small detailing here and there, until it feels satisfying enough. And this process doesn't really work that well for a speed build. But I've made a little cinematic tour of this garden, or whatever we call it, so you can see how it all turned out. Stay around to see that. Remember to leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, and then I'll just say thank you for stopping by.